Today we are going to take a look at some Canva tips and tricks to make your Canva experience just a little bit smoother. So the first thing that we need to do is go to canva.com and you will need to log in with your Google login. All right, so all I've done is pulled up an 8.5 by 11 just blank document. Now for this, I just want to use this as a template to kind of pull up a few different options to kind of go over these tips and tricks. Now remember, up at the top, you can always just kind of type in just whatever you want to rename your document. For this one, I'm just going to name it blank template. Now, the first thing I want to show is just different animations that you can add in. You can do different timing up here, or you can go into different elements. For this one, I can add in a school bus. And up at the top, click animate, and then you have a few different options. So say that I want my school bus to drift in, I can do that. But a school bus doesn't go backwards, so I'm going to have it going forward. So there we go. And that works for our school bus. I'm going to have them go a little bit faster. There we go. All right. Our next one is background remover. So I'm going to go into my uploads and I'm going to find this photo of the Stokes County school, courthouse. And actually, let me add that to another blank page down here. And I'll make this a little bit bigger. Now, I really like this photo, but I don't want this sky in the background. Now, as long as I'm clicked on this image, if I go up here to the left and click Edit Image, actually the first thing that pops up is Background Remover. If I select, it's going to work its magic. And it's going to take that background blue sky right out. You can even do this with any image that you have. If you've downloaded a photo of yourself or a picture of the students, anything like that, you can even go in and click erase, and I can now erase, let's say, this grass. You can kind of take out any of those things. So maybe I don't want to take that out. I can click restore and it will bring it back. You can use it as a brush as well. If I want to say go back, I can do that too. Once I'm done, and click done, and there's my photo and I can apply. Now you also have a few different options in the edit image bay. You can kind of give some different filters to your image. You can do some different kind of paint effects as well. And then once you get these, you can also control like how different they look, some different face retouches, all sorts of stuff. Say that I don't really like that, I can hit cancel and it'll go right back. Blurring, liquefy, pixelate, really just kind of depends on what you want to do with those. Anything that I do, I can always just kind of group those back and forth together. So I'm going to go and let's add some text to these. So over here on my left-hand side, I'm going to add text. Let's do a heading. Let's add this to, let's change this to, I'm going to change the size of this so it'll fit. Let's drag it up there to the top. Let's center it. And let's pick a really good font. We'll do right there. Now remember that anytime you want to change your font, you don't have to just search through all of these. Say that I want something that is more of a professional field. So Maybe something that's more corporate feeling, or maybe something that is calligraphy. I can search through and find something of that nature. And it really just kind of goes with what you are feeling and play around. There's different options that kind of fit what you're looking for. So let's do this vintage moon. There we go. Now I like this, but I want to jazz it up just a little bit more. If I still have my text highlighted, I can click effects, and this is where I can play around with the drop shadow, and I can get this cool little shadow in the back, or I can get a lift and still have that kind of shadow, but it's going to be more of kind of like a glow, or I can get more of a neon effect or highlighted, even kind of a glitch, splice, echo, or this hollow fill, or I can kind of curve it around and adjust the curve. So maybe it's just kind of like this, and then fit the size to what I want. And I want a really on brand Stokes County Schools color. So I'm going to get that really deep maroon color right there. And there you go. So I want more of this kind of filter, but then I want to add in some more elements to that. So this is Stokes County Schools. I have the courthouse, which represents the school board, but let's get some more education in there. So I'm going to filter education, and this is great. Here are some books and apples. Love that. I'm going to drag this over here, and then I'm going to resize it. um, I love that this pops up. These are our magic recommendations. So this is going to help me kind of filter in more of the style that's going to fit this that I've already picked. So if I click see all, you'll notice that this same kind of style and filter is really going to pop up. And it's also going to pick in this kind of artist that has created that. And if I click, these graphics from that same artist are going to pop up. But if I really don't like that, I don't have to. Maybe if I want to pop up some photos, I can do that as well from a classroom. I can even get some videos of students that are coming from a free database, not from our school system. But I want to go back to graphics. I like this light bulb, get some creative thinking in there. I'm going to resize that as well. We'll get that resized. Global thinking. And we'll just add in a couple more things here. This is great. There we go. All right. So once you've kind of got a few different things that you want, you can then select all of these items right here. And when you go up here, you can position them. And if I click tidy up, it's going to rearrange them to where they are evenly spaced across. And then if I want, I can kind of adjust them based off of really where I want them. So say if I want them all to the right, it's going to move them all there, all on top, middle, all of that. So it really just kind of depends on what you want. So say that I want to go back to where they were all aligned, adjustly, I can do that as well. If I want to move them all together, this group option is really good because now when I move them, they're all going to move together at the same time. This is great if you're working on a flyer or anything like that, to where you don't want to have to move everything individually. So even if I click on this ABC, everything is going to move all at once. So instead of moving everything one little bit at a time, it's together and even. If I do decide that I want to undo all of them, all I have to do is click on one of them and select ungroup, and now I can adjust them that way. If I do want to have some of them, move them, but sometimes it's really difficult with the mouse, I do suggest using your keypad arrows. It just gives you a finer movement, and it's great to do that as well. So when you're in a presentation for Canva, there's a few different buttons that will give you different effects that are just fun and exciting if you want to spice up your presentation. Now, you have to be in Canva for this to work. It's not going to work in Google Slides or anything else. But these are just fun and exciting if you want to spice it up. Now, this is a presentation that I did last week for the beginning teacher meeting, and so I'm just taking this and I'm adding to it. So up at the top, I'm going to click present, and I'm going to be in standard mode, and now I'm in full screen. Now I'm just going to click the letters on my keyboard and to get them started, and then I'm also going to click them to make them end. So the first one that I am going to do is I'm going to click the letter B, and this is going to blur my screen. So maybe I want my screen to be up and ready, but I don't want them to see what I'm presenting yet. And then I'll click B to make that go out. I'm also going to click the letter C to give a little pop of confetti. I'm going to do the letter D for a nice little drum roll. I'm going to do an M for a mic drop. So maybe that'll come at the end, or a really good point that you might make during your presentation. Maybe your class or the audience is getting really loud and you want them to get quiet. You're getting towards the end of the presentation and you want to do a good closing, so you could even do a nice little curtain call. And last but not least, for some reason you can do an O, and you can add in some little bubbles in there. And then if you want to add in even more, you can press O consistently, and it will add more and more and more bubbles. And then you can just click escape, and it will take you out.